Hi, this is Melissa Thomas, Director of the Center for Student Learning at the College of Charleston. This short video is meant to give you the resources to understand how to plan a course of study for a graduate school entrance exam, like the MCAT, LSAT, GMAT, or GRE. This is one of my favorite comic strips, PhD comics. Going to grad school is a serious decision, but well worth the price. Having a sense of humor about it all will help you relax and take each step with ease. Today I will talk about which test you should take, assessing your goal, the basic timeline of studying, some effective study techniques, and the materials and resources that are available to you as a current College of Charleston student. So which test are you taking? Sometimes your discipline makes this decision for you, but sometimes you have a choice. If you do, I recommend you take a cold turkey practice test of each test type to understand which one is a better fit for you. Now you need to assess what your goal is, but to do that, you need to set up a spreadsheet or chart that compares the different schools that you want to apply to, their mid-range or average or minimum test score and GPA, plus other factors such as price, location, fit, etc. Do you need to score higher to compensate for a lower GPA? What's your target score? Also, remember that you are more than a number. Most schools look at your application holistically and will assess how good of a fit you are for their program. About 10% of the applicant pool will be automatically accepted because of their extremely high numbers, and 10% will be automatically not accepted because they are extremely low numbers. The rest, 80%, will be looked at thoroughly and maybe even interviewed before decisions are made. Make yourself known in a good way to the admissions office and the department you're applying to. Now that you have your goal, it's time to take a baseline test, or as I call it, the cold turkey test. This is a test where you haven't studied and you don't know much, but we need to know where you are so you know how to get to your goal. Don't expect the score to be anywhere near your goal score. Then I recommend studying all the sections generally, unless you aced a section, and taking a midpoint practice test. Then for the second half of your studying, you can study very specifically on the types of questions that are challenging you. I then recommend a final practice test to ensure that your studying has gotten you where you need it to. This study plan could take anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months. It's up to you to decide how long you need to study to get to your goal and what else you have on your plate that might interfere with studying, i.e. classes, work, etc. A recent meta-research study was completed that looks at previous research on effective learning strategies and assesses, once and for all, which study strategies are truly the most effective. Which ones do you think are the most effective? Take a second to reflect and look at the choices. The highlighted ones are the best and show that they have moderate to high utility across the board in terms of learners, materials, tasks, and contexts. These techniques are essential for graduate entrance exam studying, and it all starts with practice testing, where you self-test. Elaborative interrogation is being able to explain why something is true, and self-explanation is relating new information to known information or explaining steps in a problem-solving process. Both of these could be used in a group setting or just by talking it out with yourself or a tutor. Distributed practice is spreading out study activities over time, the antithesis of cramming, which is exactly what we don't want you to do. An interleave practice is making a study schedule that mixes different kinds of problems or materials within a single study session. This could be accomplished by doing 15 minutes of practice problems, then switching to building a master math formula sheet or working on vocabulary flashcards. In general, we recommend spreading out the studying over an extended period of time where you touch the material on a daily basis. When I studied for the LSAT, I worked each morning and evening at my dining room table while I ate, so about a 20 to 30 minute study period twice per day. The books were way too heavy to take with me. Also, if you have issues with self-motivation, I highly recommend that you use the semester at a glance calendar that the CSL creates each semester to chart out what you're doing to study every day, when you will take practice tests, etc. In terms of the verbal section of most tests, it's important to review the question types, read the directions for each section carefully, and realize that the answers are pulled directly from the passage, not from your knowledge. Also, it's important to read the passage quickly, not memorize it, and then use the questions to guide your seek and find. And in terms of the quantitative section, it's essential to review all the geometry formulas, speed, angles, PEDMIS order, and build a terrific formula sheet. Remember, the key to all of this studying is to actively interact with the knowledge. So just reading the book won't help. You need to build formula sheets, take notes, make flashcards, or any other active study strategy that forces you to process the information into a new format. Write example sentences with new vocabulary words, create your own questions or problems, etc. The great news is that as a College of Charleston student, you have access to a variety of free study. The TERC, Testing and Education Reference Center, is a database purchased by the CSL and the library which provides 3 full practice tests and an ebook for GRE, GMAT, LSAT, MCAT, and MAT. It also has quick quizzes, word of the day, and other resources such as graduate school search and scholarship search. Learning Express Library is another database provided through the library that has similar resources for the GRE, LSAT, MCAT, MAT, and the PCAT. And finally, I recommend the free Kaplan practice test as your baseline and midway practice test because it provides you with a full and detailed score report, including the subsections or question types that you need to work most on. Also, as a College of Charleston student, you can meet with a study skills professional in the CSL to help you set up your timeline and get advice geared specifically for you. Before you make an appointment, though, make sure you've done your part. Know your goal, which test you're taking, and take that baseline practice test. You're also able to go to specific tutoring labs for assistance, such as the math lab, science lab, or writing lab. When you log in, you just select the test you're prepping for and get help. So how do you be test wise and don't let the test get the best of you? Prep with plenty of time and realize that it's best to view this like a game that can be beaten. Also know that once you start to recognize the question stems and have that sense of mastery, then you've studied well and are ready. Best wishes!